Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon and welcome to American First Patriot Podcast. I'm your host, Chauncey Brown. We're launching our first Patriot Podcast, American First Candidate Show today. I'm excited to have in the studio in queue U.S. Congressional candidate for the 5th District in Pennsylvania, John Hayes. He'll be in the studio talking about some of the challenges he's facing within his district. But just to give you guys a little update, Pennsylvania, like many other states, because of politics, are still dealing with redistricting. John's running in 2022. He has a primary coming up in this springtime, and the Democratic governor, along with the Republican legislature, failed to come up with some type of agreement to redistrict the state in order for candidates to know and take out petitions. So that's one challenge that they're facing. Also, John's going to talk about his challenges being a Republican candidate and how he's being left out of the Republican Party. So let me welcome, without any further ado, to the American First Patriot Podcast, U.S. Congressional candidate from Pennsylvania, John Hayes.
Chauncey, thank you for having me.
John, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on. I know that, being a patriot, an American First candidate, you're a stand-up kind of guy. You're not in lockstep with the Republican Party, so a lot of candidates like yourself across the country are facing challenges and pushback from the GOP. What say you?
Absolutely. What say me? Well, what say me is what I've been saying since I got into this race. And when I decided to actually start to run, people over party. That's been my motto from day one. Okay, and that's the bottom line. I'm looking to represent the people, not a party. If the party wants to keep, ignoring me, that's fine. But you know what? It's the fellow conservatives that are trying to block me that it's really that's what kind of is getting through my crawl right now.
Talk about that a little bit, John, about the pushback you're receiving from conservatives about your candidacy. Yeah, talk about it. Talk about that they're trying to have you run for lower office. Talk about it. Talk about what's going on.
Sure. Yeah, out of nowhere, people are asking me to run for a state office. Now, I would love to run against the candidate that they want me to run against, because I can't stand that guy either for that state seat. And, yeah, it would be a great opportunity. But I got into this race for one reason. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. You got in this race for one reason, and after that, I'll add to it, because I also want you to mention how they added a late candidate, carpetbagger, onto the ballot, who I believe, happens to be an African-American woman. No pun intended to whoever's listening, but I am an African-American conservative Jew, just for the note. All right, John, go ahead.
Well, I'm not gonna say that she's a carpetbagger. She's from the area.
Right.
Unlike the other candidate, he definitely is not from the area. You know, this guy's from Buffalo, New York. You know, he's definitely a GOP plant who will follow the party line. You know, he's all look at me, look at me. You know, this isn't look at me politics anymore. Okay, the look at me politics ended. It's now time to fight. Now, I don't know anything about my other opponent, you know, Miss Goodwin. I'll mention her name. You know, I don't know anything about her. You know, and I don't talk ill will of people that I don't know. So, I mean, she got into the race, good for her, and, you know, for whatever reason. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, there's two conservatives that are running in this race, true conservatives running in this race. Whether you support me or support, you know, one or the other, that's fine. You don't have to support both. But you know what? The backstabbing and the, you know, showing some, you know, putting a front up in the face and then stabbing in the back to the next second, really, that's what's hurting us right now. We need to be unified. Okay, that's the bottom line. We're not being unified again. That's what's going to kill us. We're going to keep putting up candidates that aren't going to fight. Now, I'm not going to say she's not going to fight, because she probably will. And, you know, I'm up for a fight too. I've been up for this fight for a year. I put in for this fight for the past year. In for the long haul. Whether I raise the money, whatever I do. You know, I don't care. I'm not in this for the money. You know, all I hear about is, oh, this candidate's got this money. This candidate's got this money. You know what? It's not about the fucking money. Pardon my language. I know I let that one slip. But, you know, it's not about money. It's about doing what's right anymore. This country needs to be helped. Everyone in this country needs to be helped. Gone down a wrong way. This country in this past year has started going down the rabbit hole again. Politics, as usual, took back over in 2020. And look where it's gotten us. Nowhere. It's gotten us it's going to lead us into a greater depression. Higher gas prices. Gas prices in Pennsylvania jumped 20 cents overnight the other night in certain areas. You know, food shortages still. Good shortages still. You know, nothing is going right. And people are still just falling asleep saying, oh, well. You know, what happened in 2020 was not right. I'm not talking about the election. I'm talking about just everything. The government has been against us this whole time. It's time we, the people, stand up. State seats are important. I agree with that. But the federal seats are a must. It's not about party anymore. These elections are not about party. These seats are about us. And we, the people, need to be the ones to stand up and take them back. And until we realize that, we're going to be in trouble. And I hope to God we realize that coming up.
You know, John, as I'm listening to you, a lot of candidates throughout the country. Even I did a show last night with the Raven Harrison, running for Texas out of the 26th district, talking about how other conservatives down there, she's a woman of color, veteran, and she's a biracial marriage, married to a retired major, and they have the conservatives down there calling her that she's really a Democrat and not a Republican. Everywhere she goes.
And
so
why
she's not a real Republican because they're using, it's unfortunate, they're like using identity politics like the Democrats are, because they're trying to say, well, she's black, that she's not a real Republican, she's a Democrat, but she's a constitutional conservative, she's a veteran. You know, I mean, this stuff is beyond, you can't make this stuff up where the GOP is going with this stuff.
No. And the identity politics has got to stop.
And we know
it's got to stop.
It does. On both sides, especially our side. You know, now.
Hold on. I just want to point this out. No, I just want to point this out. There is a reason why there's not a picture of me on my social media. Okay. Now there's videos of me on my Facebook, but there's no picture. There is no headshot of me. There's a reason. Because it's not this has nothing to do with identity. This is not a beauty pageant. Okay? Yeah, I can put a headshot of me anytime I want. But there's a reason why I have not put one up or put a picture of myself up. Because it's not to be judged on what you look like. You know, like I said, my one opponent, he's look at me, posing with his wife, pictures of him and his wife doing this, that, and the third. It's not about that. This is about what you're going to do, what you're going to stand for, how you're going to help the community. Our community needs help. We need to revitalize our businesses. Small businesses need to grow again. Small businesses have died over the past 2-3 years in our community, all throughout the 5th District. People have lost their homes. People have lost their livelihoods. But no one wants to talk about that. All they want to talk about is COVID and this, that, and the third. No one wants to talk about how everyone else is affected. Well, I do. I'm sick and tired of talking about everything else. I'm tired of talking about identity politics. I'm tired. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of things. What really matters. That's what we're not talking about. Everything else that's going on right now is a smokescreen. Everything that's happening in D.C. is a smokescreen, the way they want it. The January 6th Commission is a smokescreen.
It's sad. And, you know, even listening to the national GOP leadership lately, you know, they're unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately, they're at least acknowledging that they have to support Trump because of the 80 million strong that we are.
Well, no. You know what? Here's the thing. The only reason they do it is because they want people to vote for them. That's it. Bottom line.
Exactly.
The GOP doesn't fucking – I cursed again. Sorry. The GOP, the national GOP don't care. Look at what McConnell did. He did it just so to get the votes. And now what is he doing? He's calling the January 6ers violent insurrectioners. Bull, you know what? Okay? He knows it. He was in on it. He called it a violent insurrection before Chuck Schumer did. Don't think we don't know that, Mitch. Mitch McConnell is nothing a fraud. Okay? Everyone that's in D.C. right now that is part of this, before anything actually happened, the supposed insurrection, They were all inside the Capitol, fist bumping, elbowing, chatting, laughing it up. Lindsey Graham fist bumping with Kamala Harris, all caught on video. They were all buddy. Yeah, we just got rid of Trump. Yeah, we're going to get his ass out of here. That's all it was. Politics back to normal. Because Trump was the carpetbagger to them. Trump was not a politician. Country like a business. Trump saw how to make the country flow. Trump saw the writing on the wall, what they were doing, and was exposing little by little. And guess what, D.C.? We're awake. The ones of us that are awake are going to expose you. We are coming.
John, you're expressing the same frustration as a lot of candidates across the country that I've been interviewing on the Chauncey Show. Thank you for your courage. You guys are going against the wind. Not only you can't get help from the party, albeit funding, ground support, but then they have their operatives, going after you guys. It's sad,
what? They can dig up as much dirt. They can dig up as much dirt on me as they want. Hey, I don't care. Because you know what? It's substance that needs to matter. Dirt don't mean shit. I'm sorry. It doesn't. These guys, prim and proper suit and tie wearing jabronis, that's all they are. There's nothing but a bunch of stuffed shirts. They've never worked a hard day in their life. They don't know what it's like to get their crap kicked out of them every day. Or, lift a shovel and dig a hole. Or carry in tons of milk or whatever. They don't know what it's like to work. They sit there and collect they collect our money to do nothing for us. That's it.
For those that are tuning in, you're listening to American First Patriot Podcast. We're listening to U.S. Congressional candidate John Hayes out of Pennsylvania, at the present moment running in District 5, but because Pennsylvania has not completed their redistricting between the politics between the Republican legislature and the Democratic governor, their primary is months away. No one has petitions picked up. No one knows exactly who they're going to be representing, and it's a sad state, not only in Pennsylvania, but some other states throughout the country. John, briefly talk about some of the issues. I mean, you're talking about issues now. Talk about some of your broader issues. Talk about briefly your position on children being mask mandates. Talk about your fight, which you've been fighting for with the diocese against masking children, that because of your efforts, along with many others, got the governor to reverse the order to lift the mask mandates on the children in schools. Talk about that a little bit, please.
Well, with the help of many parents in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, we've been fighting against the Archdiocese here in Philadelphia. Granted, it's falling on deaf ears because the Archbishop is, follows the false science and follows the false prophet of Dr. Flip Flop Fauci. Well, I hate to quote the Bible on that one, but it sounds like Sodom and Gomorrah to me, following false prophets. But it's been a long fight, and I know us parents are sick of it. I know for my daughter, I'm sick of it. And many other parents with me. We've been fighting the long fight for a long time, and it's not a fight I'm willing to give up. I've helped fight with against vaccine mandates in the schools. I've, unsuccessfully helped fight that in one school, unfortunately. But the way we're treating our children, this stuff needs to stop. We're hurting our children. And people need to see that. I mean, we're hurting them psychologically, emotionally. Kids need to see smiles. They need to see, their friends' faces. They need to see their teachers' emotions. Like, when they get something right, they need to see not just eyes. They need to see, hey, the smile on the teacher's face saying, "Yay, that's right," or the excitement on someone's face. Not just a mask, an emotionless mask. That doesn't play well on someone's psyche. And now we got doctors finally after 2.5 years 2 years coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, let's just learn." What have we been saying this whole time? And then we got Randy Weingarten, the head of the teachers union, coming out and trying to take credit for stuff like that. Like, give me a break. Parents have been standing up for you constantly. And now then we've got the Department of Justice trying to call parents like me and many others domestic terrorists. Give me a break. Because we want to stand up for our children? Merrick Garland is a domestic terrorist. The Department of Justice needs to be brought up on issues, on charges for spying on parents.
That is sad. That is really, really, really sad. When you weaponize the Justice Department against the parents and then calling them terrorists, domestic terrorists.
Oh, yeah.
Even the school boards. It's even sad that these school boards are pushing back against parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, when... Go ahead.
There was a school... No, that's okay. There's a school board out in York County here in Pennsylvania. One school board member says to the parents, "I don't work for you," in an op-ed. I don't work for you. Really? Seriously? You don't work for... Wow. It just blows my mind that these school board members just think they're I don't know when they became above everybody. They reached this higher plateau that they're just sitting on a mountain, or looking down their noses at us. Seriously, when? Because first off, we elect them, they do answer to us, and they need to stop ignoring the parents. Now, they might think, hey, we found a way to keep staying elected, and don't think we don't know that, because we do. That needs to be rectified here in Pennsylvania. That's up to the state.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges that not only you guys are facing, but across the nation. John, I know that you're extremely busy. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to get today and come on and talk to us and share with us about your candidacy and about what's going on in Pennsylvania. I hope that you'll come back on and keep us up to date. Please share with our audience your website or your Linktree link. Or what I'll do is I'll add it to the bio of the show right now, so then they will have all your information. Yeah. I'll do that.
I forgot the Linktree link. But my website is hayesforuscongress.com. Right now I'm working on getting the right now I have a Patriot thing if anyone wanted to donate, but I'm going to be getting a PayPal because the Patriot thing isn't really working out. But
yes,
I'm working on a PayPal, so people don't have to pledge, monthly. So, but no, I mean, I'm not good at begging for money, and I'm not looking to beg for money. I mean, I know again, I'm not one of these guys that's got the money, but I've got the heart and soul and the fight for this. I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a millionaire. I'm just somebody who just wants to get this country back on the right direction and the right track. That's it.
Amen. Once again, I'll remind our listeners that at the bottom of the show description, you can visit John Hayes on a Linktree, and all of his social media links will be there, or you can follow John. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. John, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you'll come back on again soon. Okay?
Definitely. Yep.
All right. Take care, John.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Welcome. You too.
Yeah.
This is American First Patriot Podcast. I'm your host, Chauncey Brown. We were honored to have in the studio American First Patriot People Over Party candidate John Hayes, talking to us about the challenges that he's facing and pushback from conservatives, from the establishment within his party, as well as other candidates throughout the country. We're just this is our first show. We're just launching, and we haven't set up a schedule yet. But follow us on Blog Talk Radio, or you can follow us on Spreaker. We have not actually. We're on Twitter. I'm sorry, we are on Twitter right now. So you can follow us on Twitter, and I believe the handle is, let me double check for everyone, USA First Podcast. USA First Podcast. It's under America First Patriot Podcast. So check back for updates. We're going to have Patriots, American First candidates on the show, talking to you, giving it to you straight, giving it to you live, unfiltered, and uncensored. So check back with us. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. And if we don't speak and have another show this week, God bless you all and have a great weekend. Okay, good night now.